Hey guys, welcome back to Trek on the Tube, and welcome back to yet another Star Trek review and Easter eggs video. The time has come, yes indeed, the time has come to do, well, not just any old review, we're doing the actual first review for Star Trek Picard. I mean, seriously. Star Trek Picard, Season 1, Episode 1, Remembrance. It's amazing, I can't believe it. We're talking about the return of one of the most iconic television characters of all time. It's fantastic. Before we jump in though, let me just say one short thing. If you're new to the channel, brought here by whatever means, the Captain Picard Day video, the buzz the show is generating, know that each one of my reviews is done in two kind of parts. First, I talk about my thoughts and my opinions, and then I break down every Easter egg, reference, and connection to older Star Trek that I can find. That's how I do these videos. That's the format, and that explains why they don't come out the same day as the actual episode. It takes time for me to gather my thoughts, do all these multiple rewatches, write the script, etc., etc. I also don't include recaps. I don't find them useful. I just talk about what I saw. If you've seen the episode before this video, then you have all the context you need. Don't worry about it. Which brings us to the final little thing. Since these videos are detailed analyses, they include spoilers, so be careful. Alright, this is it. This is it. It's actually happening. I'm talking about a new show that features Picard. I never thought this would happen. Look, I'm thrilled to say that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this episode very much. I'm not on the fence. Alright, I'm not hesitant. I'm not wondering whether I like it. I genuinely enjoyed myself. I had a great time. It's an incredible feeling. It's amazing. I'm so hyped. To be fair, it's not the best episode of television ever produced, neither is it the best episode of Star Trek ever to be released, but it is the very first episode of a brand new show, and I've never seen a new show that has their very first episode be the best they've ever made. I mean, pilots or introductions, premieres, however you want to call them, are usually, in fact, a little awkward. Every show needs to find, its footing, and Picard is no exception, although here, there already is a very strong sense of direction when it comes to the story. The show knows where it's going. It knows what it wants to tell you. And so this first episode is more about setting things up than testing the waters like other shows have a tendency of doing. Honestly, it's some solid television. It's some quality content. And so I make this following statement with no hesitation. As of now, this is the best Star Trek first episode, hands down. It brilliantly connects and weaves itself into the universe it's set in. It works impeccably as a follow-up to Star Trek The Next Generation and its movies. It does a good job at introducing new characters and establishing the timeline of events that we've missed as these years have gone by. And it does a very good job at pacing itself without lingering so long on any situation that one would think that the episode is stalling. I got a lot of praise. I got a lot of praise to throw around. I mean, I liked the episode. I thought it was a good first episode. Look, I do have a few nitpicks, of course. That's who I am. That's what I'm like. And that's what these videos are for, so, I mean, I didn't very much enjoy the whole interview sequence. I think that the montage that they opened with was a bit amateurish. They pulled up stock photos of Picard and his friends, photos that I and many other Star Trek content creators often use in our videos, so that took me out of the fictional universe for a second there. And then the interviewer was so unprofessional, so racist, dare I say, that I have trouble accepting that she would even have this job, hold this position. And then the interview being live, too, I don't know. Why would anyone want to do this live, especially if you're wanting to force a narrative? Wouldn't editing the footage in post help you with that? I mean, I don't know. It did serve the plot, I guess, to have this live. It enabled Dahj to kind of locate Picard and track him down, like find him. But yeah, also Dahj and her boyfriend. I didn't like that. I thought it was a bit cringy. Greater Boston, the city itself, that was fine, as was the apartment, but the dialogue between the two characters felt off somehow. Maybe it's the use of the word dude, then again maybe not, it might not come down to just one word. Maybe they had no chemistry. They didn't seem to connect very well for me, so the boyfriend dying straight away, though it did come as a surprise, didn't bother me at all. Also, this activation thing, I don't know, it was a bit corny. It was a bit 90s. From a technical standpoint, however, apart from a few dodgy visual effects, Dahj jumping up the stairs for example, I really don't have any complaints. It's beautifully shot and wonderfully lit. Everything you see on screen is crisp and clear, as is the sound quality. It's great. I wouldn't go as far as calling it cinematic like some people are, because there's nothing really awe-inspiring happening on screen. The events that are shown don't have that cinematic scope, if you will. Sure, some of the moments are glorious to behold. I mean, the shot with the Enterprise D in the beginning, that really was a stunning and emotional moment. It's high-quality television, there's no denying that. But you know, that's what we've come to expect from TV nowadays. We have a higher standard. As I said, it was well directed. Shout out to Hanali Culpepper. She did a fantastic job. The action sequences were readable, and the close-ups during the dialogue sequences made for a very intimate experience. The handheld camera when Dahj meets Picard for the first time is a choice that puzzled me. I don't really know in what way that was supposed to serve the scene, but you know, it's a detail. I'm being ridiculous. Come on, let's face it. The performances were good, the dialogue worked, the locations were great, it was visually appealing, the characters, both old and new, were believable and likable, the intrigue the episode set up has me wanting more, the futuristic technology and the real-world elements blend seamlessly together. It was a good episode, and I'm damn proud to be a Trekkie right now, I'll tell you that. That's... Alright. Easter eggs and references. It's now time to go over every little detail that connects to the previous iterations of Star Trek, or at least all of the ones that I could spot. And there's a few. There's quite a lot. So let's dive in. No. Actually, I completely forgot. The opening sequence. I didn't like it, or rather, I'm underwhelmed by it. I mean, it might grow on me as time passes. That's what happened with the Deep Space Nine opening sequence. But as it stands, I'm not impressed. I think it tries too hard to look cool, but ends up looking like, you know, not much of anything. And although I love Jeff Russo and the use of the flute as a throwback to the Inner Light, I don't like the opening theme. It sounds like it's in an eternal state of beginning. You know, it never crescendos. They might change it, or it might just grow on me. As I said, who knows? But it's just an opening sequence. It doesn't matter. It's not the actual show, so... Alright, Easter eggs. Starting with Blue Skies. The show opens with this song, and already it's Easter eggs layered on top of Easter eggs. I mean, the song itself is the one that Data sang in Nemesis at a very special wedding. This version, however, is performed by a certain Bing Crosby, who is in fact the grandfather of Denise Crosby, aka Tasha Yar from The Next Generation. So, as I said, layers. We carry on with more Next Generation references. This is the Enterprise D. This is 10 forward on the Enterprise D. Picard and Data, they're both playing poker, suggesting after finally sitting down at the poker table in the Next Generation finale, Picard started playing the game more often. I know this is a dream sequence, but still, I'm assuming here that a lot of what we're seeing is visual representation of memories or experiences Picard has had over the years. This cup is the same design as the ones Picard used to drink his Earl Grey tea out of in the Next Generation. He used to order it hot, he now orders it decaf. Continuing on with the Next Generation references, Chateau Picard and the Vineyard is the Picard family home that we have already seen before. One of the panels inside has an Alcaz display, something that we see all the time in the Star Trek of the 90s. Picard's dog is named Number 1, a clear reference to how Picard used to call Commander Riker. In the Federation News Network montage, we can see a picture of Worf, actual Worf, no Discovery-style makeup. It's already been mentioned that if he were to make an actual appearance on the show, he would keep his classic, very iconic makeup. So no redesigning there. Here we see both Data and Picard wearing those now classic Next Generation uniforms. Again, it's a dream sequence, but still. Finally, we get the name Bruce Maddox. In this episode, it's established he was head of the synthetics department. You might remember him as that one asshole that tried to steal, dismantle, and use Data that one time. There was a whole trial and everything. It was a whole big deal. It didn't really work out well for poor little Maddox. Dahj is established here, or I don't know, she's rather set up to be, or introduced as, or implied to be. She's implied to be Data's daughter. We'll see if this is actually true or not as the show progresses. Data had already constructed himself a daughter. Her name was Lal. And technically this isn't a Next Generation reference, it's rather a Nemesis reference, but this is before. One of the two brothers Data has that we know about. The boyfriend here is Zahin, a race first featured in the short treks. The Federation News Network team includes a Trill, a race first introduced in the Next Generation. This is the symbol for the Ferengi Alliance. This is the Daystrom Institute, something very often mentioned in Star Trek, but this is the first time we actually get to see it on screen. During the interview, Picard and the interviewer discussed the Hubble supernova, the subsequent destruction of Romulus, and what happened after that. This is the first time that those events seen in the Kelvin Timeline movie have been referred to on a Prime Timeline show, even if those events did take place in the Prime Timeline. At one point, we see glimpses of the attack on Mars. It's the same footage as we saw in the short treks tying into Picard. The special Romulan reclamation site, as they call it, is in fact a Borg cube. The Borg have been featured heavily in many iterations of Star Trek. If you want to learn more about them, I very recently released a video explaining a bit about who they are and what they are, so you can check that out, link in the description. We finished this with Jean-Luc Picard's Vault, because that was full of Easter eggs. There's a model of the USS Stargazer, the first ship that he commanded. There's also a model of the Enterprise D and one of the Enterprise E, along with its captain's yacht. I think it's called the Cousteau. We also see the Captain Picard Day banner. That banner was first seen in the Next Generation episode The Pegasus, an absolutely amazing piece of television. We also see a Klingon dagger and bat'leth. The dagger does have a Klingon name as well. I looked it up for the sake of this video, but I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. And there are also various diplomas on the walls, one from Starfleet Academy, and that is the artifact Picard once found in the episode The Chase. To end all this, the show is just like the latest short treks, based upon Star Trek The Next Generation rather than Star Trek, aka the original series. Alright, that's it. Actually, there's one moment in the episode where Jean-Luc Picard speaks in French and there's subtitles, and there's another moment where he speaks French and there's no subtitles. I speak both languages fluently, so I can serve as like kind of an interpret if you need me to do that. Anyway, in this case, he says bien à la guillotine alors, which essentially means good to the guillotine then. That is a literal translation. A more English appropriate translation would be like, alright, I'm off to the guillotine. You understand the context. He's talking about how the interview is going to be difficult for him. Alright, there you go. That's it. I'll do more translations if there are more that are needed. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment telling me what you thought about the episode. Tell me if I missed an Easter egg, because there were so many that I maybe did miss a bunch. That's it. Remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends. You can support this channel and help it grow on Patreon, like all of these fine individuals. And until next time, live long and prosper.